the international clash between Portugal and Hungary that would determine whether Portugal would qualify for the fifth World Cup upcoming in the year to follow. But Hungary had other ideas. Let us take a look at what exactly were those ideas from Hungary, Portugal being the red and Hungary being the blue. Portugal approached the game in a 4-3-3 formation, and from the first minute they were able to have good spells of possession. This was due to the fact that Hungary defended in a 4-4-2 shape that would not look to press aggressively and were more than happy to drop deep. This allowed Portugal time and space during build-up to look to penetrate through Hungary's defense. Portugal, when building up, would have different phases of build-up. Let me explain. At times, especially when deep, they would have Vidinha drop between the two center-backs. Both fullbacks in this situation would push upfield. Ruben Neves would also drop deep. This would mean that the likes of Bernardo Silva would be the outlets in the midfield. Vidinha dropping deep would improve the passing prowess of Portugal, as he is a better passer of the ball than the two centre-backs. This is why he would be dropped deep. In the second phase of build-up, we would see Vidinha push further forward into the midfield. Vidinha in this game was allowed to float centrally and look to find space between the Hungarian defensive shape. During build-up, Portugal had little to no issues. It was upfield where they began to have a few problems. Hungary were looking to compact the space in the center of the pitch, meaning it would be difficult for Portugal to effectively attack through the center of the pitch, so they would look to attack out wide. However, this did not seem as good of an idea at first. Early on, Portugal would only be able to move the ball from side to side in a horseshoe movement, looking to pickpocket at the Hungarian defense, which did not work as this defense was solid and robust. To adapt to this, Portugal began to then focus on getting the ball either in behind Hungary or crossing it into the box. This is how both goals from Portugal were scored. The reason why Hungary struggled to defend these types of attacks was due to their inability to distinguish in game situations. An example would be in situations where Hungary would be faced with a counter-attack. Some players would man mark whilst others would zonal mark. This would allow for pockets of space to be created for Portugal to attack. But for the most part, Hungary were really good defensively. Let us take a look at how they were able to execute this. Hungary approached the game in a 4-3-3 formation. We would very rarely see them build up, but when they did, they would build in a back three that would have one of their fullbacks push upfield. The two fullbacks would alternate when going upfield. Hungary played most of this game defending, looking to catch Portugal on the transition, and they were able to create a few chances from these situations. However, most of their potential chances lead to nothing, as lack of coordination, especially when the team looked to counter, would hinder them from having successful counterattacks at times. And this was not helped by the fact that Portugal were really good in applying a counterpress in this game. When Hungary were able to bypass Portugal, they looked to either play crosses similar to Portugal, or would play long balls into the box. An advantage of this would be that Portugal would drop off whenever their initial lines of press were bypassed, allowing Hungary a little more time on the ball. This would allow them to get into situations where they would then be able to either play these crosses into the box or get set pieces, which is how Hungary managed to score twice against Portugal. Portugal found it a bit challenging to deal with crosses into the box similar to Hungary. Overall, this game was quite entertaining, as both teams were able to get goals and had to tactically adapt in order to prevent the other team from winning the game. Portugal were dominant in this game and were able to play good balls into the box of Hungary and get the goals they had scored, keeping cool heads after they had conceded. Hungary, on the other hand, had to spend most of the game defending, having to endure relentless attacks from Portugal. They too were able to play good balls into Portugal's 18-yard box. Final score: Portugal 2, Hungary 2.